So the first legs of the Champions League quarterfinals have finished now. So going through each of the four games individually, one thing about all of them is there's a strong, convincing winner in each match. We'll start with Sporting Lisbon against Arsenal. This was obviously on Tuesday. This one was probably, in terms of how the game actually panned out, the closest game, the most end-to-end, the most competitive. Sporting played really well. Unlucky to not have scored a goal. Really unfortunate. David Raya, again, had an absolute blinder. Pulled off a couple of really good saves. A bit of fortune with that one that he was able to push onto the crossbar. But Arsenal played to their strengths that they have done all season. They have did what they do best, really. That's the reason why they're in the position they're in the competitions they're still in. But they defended, and when the chance came, they was clinical right at the end. Havertz got that goal, and it does feel unfortunate for Sporting because I feel like it looked like they could at least take a draw back to the Emirates, which is I thought it was unlucky, but at the end of the day, Arsenal did what they do best. They kept the clean sheet and was in the end was able to win the game 1-0. So when that goes back to the Emirates next week, Arsenal, having taken the lead home, are in a very strong position. What I will say is Sporting would not completely count them out of it because a couple of years ago in the Europa League, round 16, Sporting went to the Emirates in the second leg and was able to get the game to extra time, and then actually beat Arsenal on penalties. So wouldn't write them off. Arsenal have obviously improved since then. They're a much more experienced, much more established top team now. And Sporting have obviously had changes as well. But Sporting, they're a strong team. They are a good team. They're still in the title race in Portugal. They were a bit behind Porto, but they've got it back to a position where they're 5 behind with a game in hand. So it's still possible they can win that. And if they could turn it around in that second leg, which you never know, they are still in the tie. And they do like a comeback as well. They did that against Bodo Glimt. Then I think there'll be a threat beyond this match in the Champions League as well. I think they're a very good side, but I just think Arsenal really, like I say, utilised what they've been good at all season. In terms of the next game, you've got Real Madrid were at home to Bayern in the first leg. A strong away performance actually from Bayern, a very strong away win. A lot of the away teams done very well in this round, but as for Bayern, like I say, Diaz getting that goal before half time, Harry Kane getting one quite quickly afterwards. From that point, you can think it's a long way back for Real Madrid. They was able to stay in the tie. That goal from Mbappe right towards the end could be crucial. It's really what was giving them a fighting chance going into that second leg. At the end of the day, you can never write Real Madrid off. However, it does feel like a massive uphill battle going to Bayern Munich. The way Bayern Munich are, especially with how strong Bayern Munich are at home, the way they're playing this season, the fact that they're going strong on all three fronts, and they pretty much have the Bundesliga sewn up as well. It's going to be an incredibly big task to go and overturn even a 1-goal deficit there. If they could have got the draw at home, Real Madrid, it would have felt very much hanging in the balance in that second leg. Like it could still really could go either way, but it does very much feel like not the tie. The tie's not over, but a massive uphill battle for Real Madrid going over there now. There's a strong, convincing away win as well. Dominated most of the game by the looks of it. They just simply outplayed Madrid, who are not having as good of a season as them. And we see that quite a lot with Real Madrid recently. Some of their recent results. They had the Menorca game just before this that they lost, which was a shock as well. Title race is looking like it might be dead and buried in La Liga as well. Real Madrid are out of the cup as well, so at real risk of having a season trophy list, which is quite something for them. Wednesday's games now. PSG are at home to Liverpool. Now, I didn't see much of this game, any of this game live, but from what I could tell here, PSG looked like they dominated most of the game. It looked like very different to actually when Chelsea, my team, went over to PSG. We went toe to toe with them for about 85 minutes, really. I mean, the game was 3-2 going into final few minutes, and we just completely collapsed and let in those 2 stupid goals, and the second leg was over before it even kicks off, really. But like I say though, for most of that game, we was able to go end to end with them and give them a really close game, and there was moments where we almost went in front. This game was different though. Liverpool were very much being outplayed in all areas of the pitch. PSG were very much dominated the game, had most of the ball, most of the chances. Liverpool were barely getting a look in, especially in that first half. What they did that was different to us is they was able to hold them out to a certain extent. PSG took the lead, and for a while it looked like Liverpool might actually just keep it at 1-0, which if they could have done that, that would have been huge, only taking a 1-goal deficit back to Anfield next week. But PSG eventually, their dominance paid off, and they was able to go 2 in front, which felt very necessary from their point of view, to have themselves in such a strong position going into that second leg. What I will say though is, if they could have got a third, PSG probably would have been over. I know Liverpool have turned around and 3-goal leads before in Europe, but realistically speaking, that probably would have been over. 2 goals though still feels very much in the balance, and I do feel like if one of these games is going to turn around, I think it could be Liverpool, particularly with them being at home, and there's the whole Anfield thing. I think PSG are in a very good position, and I think what they could do here, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up PSG and just comfortably get the job done, just do enough to go through and just stay consistent like they have done all season. But what I will say though is I think they do need an early goal, PSG. Well, not necessarily need, but I think they could really do with it, because just to ease any sort of pressure, because it'll be a good atmosphere at Anfield, no doubt. But if Liverpool were to score an early goal, if they score at any point, if they take the lead at any point on the night, it could, it'll really, the atmosphere will really go up another level. But I think if they could score within the opening 20 minutes, I think all of a sudden it's looking very different. We haven't seen much of PSG have not had their backs against the wall yet, is what I've been saying for a while. And I think when someone did really test them, Monaco really tested them in the Champions League playoff game, and they were pushed really close on that. They've been pushed in Ligue 1 for the title as well. They've not been as dominant and as free playing as they was last season. I think they definitely are a team that are beatable. They've looked immaculate so far because of how consistent they've been. But I also don't think the oppositions they faced have played that well or been that great either. I mean, we've faced us and look at how we gifted them 2 goals in the first leg and then gifted them another 2 in the second leg, and then they obviously up with another one as well. So, I don't think it will be a scoreline like that on aggregate. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool really pushing that second leg to go through, despite the fact they're playing so bad. I still think Champions League knockout game, second leg at Anfield, with the ties, with the turnaround still achievable, still doable, I think they'll be right up for it still. And they're going to have to be as well, because they're out the cup now. If they want to win something, Liverpool, if they want to make this a successful season, this could be the only way. 5th place in the league looks achievable, but with their current form as well, it's, they've got a job to do to even hang on to that. And PSG having the other thing with PSG is I believe they did get this game postponed this weekend as well. I think we spoke about that when I did the predictions the other day. But yeah, in a couple of after this weekend's set of fixtures, I will do the second leg predictions for these games. But I'm going to have a bit of a think about a couple of these actually. The last game though that was played in the Champions League this week was Barcelona at home to Atletico Madrid. Two Spanish sides going head to head, first versus third in La Liga. Barcelona won away at Atletico at the weekend, and they managed to get themselves 7 points clear at the top of La Liga. Pretty much have that won now, but that did not go to plan for Barcelona at all, really. At home in that first leg, I felt like with what the atmosphere is like at Atletico, I felt like they could really need to take the lead, really, to the away leg. But 2 goals behind feels, a massive uphill battle. It's not necessarily tie over, but it does very much feel like Atletico now have got themselves in a very good position. Very good. It's where it went wrong though for Barcelona was that red card. It was always going to be, and it was always going to completely change the outlook of the game. When that happened, it was going to have to change the whole approach. Defender getting sent off, last man challenge. It was always going to be a sending off, and then to get the goal, Alvarez with the goal literally pretty much instantly going into half time, a massive time to score, and going in at the break with the man advantage as well as the lead Atletico. Second half was always going to be interesting for Barcelona. The approach was always going to be interesting because, going into 10 men for a team like them, I've always said this about Barcelona, under Hansi Flick, they play a very high line. very high line, and there is ways of exploiting it. Chelsea done that early in the season. We won 3-0. We see glimmers of Newcastle having playing well in that first leg. Obviously, in the second leg they completely collapsed. That is the one thing about Barcelona, is when they do hit form, they can become very free scoring. But I think the way to hurt them is to really get at them and really test the defence and really, because that's where they're having issues this season for sure. And Atletico going into that second half, my one worry was I actually watched I didn't see much of the first half. Saw the goal. I saw the entire second half live, and the way it started, Barcelona actually started well in that second half. And what the worry was, from Atletico point of view, I was thinking is, are they going to play it too safe now? Are they going to sit back and try and hold on to this lead they've got and try and not, or just basically try and leave with the one goal lead, which I thought could be a mistake. I thought could be playing very dangerously, because as I said, what you want to do with Barcelona is you need to really go at them. You can't let them come at you, even if they have 10 men. I think that was that could have been dangerous, but they certainly didn't do that. I think as soon as Atletico started sort of using the space they had, moving the ball like they was, as soon as they started using the man advantage, literally pretty much as soon as they started doing that, they found the opening and they got that second goal. And once they got that second goal, it very much felt like the tie was hanging by a thread for Barcelona, and from that point onwards, it was damage limitations. From Lewandowski got substituted after that. It was very much a case of, okay, we can't make this any worse now. We're probably not going to make it any better now, because at the end of the day, if they push forward too much, Barcelona, the space is going to always be there. So that's what I say. As soon as that man got sent off, it's a very difficult thing particularly for a team like Barcelona, because it does change the entire approach and the entire outlook of the game when a player gets sent off at that moment. So having lost that home leg so badly, Barcelona and Atletico feel in a very strong position in that home leg. Two goals for the good, and I think what they've got to do is 2-goal advantage. It's a very strong position to be in. There's always a chance of the comeback, but I think they've just got to find the right balance of, as anyone would have to in that position, you've just got to find the right balance of not playing it too safe, still going at Barcelona, still testing and not allowing them to play their football so much. What they've got to really try and do what they did in that first leg. What they can't do is give them any sort of opening. They've got to still approach it with the same win on the night mentality, but also just not go too much for the goal, because they don't need to. They just need to keep it tight and keep it steady, Atletico. And I think they can do that. And I think out of everyone, they're in an excellent position going into that second leg. So everyone's in a strong position. Definitely the chance of some comebacks. But I think there was 4 convincing winners there for sure. Second legs though, coming up. And one thing is that quite often happens is it's never as straightforward as you think it will be. Even from this position, there could still be a major twist or two in those second legs.